We got Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it. Yeah, is that right? All right. Well, let me put you up here. So what we have is Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it. And I hope you guys will watch the shorts because it is every time he sings and you read the card, it's just amazing. All the synchronicities. I am going to go over it because it's very important what happened in the space world with the Palladians and the Seven Sisters. And it's funny that they wanted me to put Twisted Sister on. And then also we have Be Done. And that's also going on in the astral world because they're finishing our last little bit of karmic residue that's sticking to us. So what we're going to go over today is they wanted me to pick the cards from the Divinely Guided Oracle that I did on the shorts because they want you to see what specific areas are your last areas that are getting cleansed out. Okay, so we're going to go in there and talk about that. But yeah, Be Done. We are definitely on a new timeline, a new chapter. This is it, guys. So I don't know. They're not telling me any of the secrets, just like everybody else. Everybody's in suspense right now, aren't we? Are we all in suspense? Okay. But the last video from Seraphine and Chosen Chronicles would be a good one for you guys to look up. Yeah, it would be a good one for you to look up. You agree? Yeah, we listened to it right away when it came out. Okay, let's go ahead and go over these cards. We got our mascot. Okay, so what are the things that we want to basically be giving up here? Okay, well, we want to give up the karmic trolls. We want to give up what other people are thinking of us. Okay, I told you I'm always authentic, I'm never edited, and that's why you may see bloopers, you may see things that are better one day than they are the next. You might hear things in the background. All different kind of things that are gonna be happening when you're live. And then I don't edit it when I'm done. So that's just the way I roll, okay? If you were to see me today, this is what you'd see. Okay, so we have the karmic trolls, and they wanted me to tell you a story about these little guys. I was a real estate broker in Wisconsin, and I am one in California. And I'm semi-retired. I don't do a whole lot, but I have my license. But back in the day when I sold a lot of houses, I would give out keychains with these guys on them. And that's your new house, and here's your key, and they'd have a little troll on them. Well, who would have ever thought I'd be showing you a card with karmic trolls saying, we're done. We're done with what people think about us. Yeah, that's a pretty good one to be done with. Now the other cards were survival mode and spiritual alchemy. They want you to be done with the survival mode and focus on spiritual. We talked a little bit about this in the last few videos where I said you're going to have to get rid of some people in your life because their bullshit is coming in onto you because you're hanging out with them or you're married to them or you're working for them, and their bullshit is coming off onto you. So for instance, somebody you're hanging out with is drinking and you're with them and they do something stupid like get a drunk driving or get into an accident, well, those consequences fall onto you. Whether you have to help them with the bills, bail them out, go to the hospital, maybe you yourself get hurt. So that's an example of what I'm saying about when you hang out with toxic people, you suffer the consequence just as much as they do. We want you out of your survival mode and into a spiritual mode. So be done with the toxins and the survival mode. Now, the next cards out were the mechanical responses and the awkward silences. That's all because you're in the matrix. You have a job that's the matrix. You have a family life that's matrixy, right? So you have awkward silences because you can't talk about ascension and you can't talk about these conspiracy theories with these people. So you have to be silent, awkward silences, right? You have to give mechanical responses, okay? They want you to be done with that too. So what that means, that doesn't mean you have to put your opinion onto these people. It's saying detach from the people that don't think like you. So that leaves me with me and my pets and a few people on YouTube. Because I can't talk about spaceships and awakenings and karmic trolls and assignments to the people around me, okay? And I think that's why all my family members and friends were taken out of my life. As I've told you, the last 5 years have been very quiet. So we don't want to be doing awkward silences and mechanical responses. We're done with that, okay? The other thing they wanted me to tell you is that you're chosen and you're royal. And if you're chosen and you're royal, you should be pure. So I don't know how many of you have given up sex and drugs and rock and roll. No, don't give up the rock and roll part. I don't know how many of you have given up sex and drugs and alcohol, but you're chosen. And you've heard all along that your body is a temple, and not many of you followed that, okay? Well, at some point, I hope that you do, because you're not going to be ascending while you're having sex and drinking beer and smoking cigarettes and pot. It's not going to happen. You can think that you're going to go to your highest level. You think because you're a chosen one that you have the right. Well, you'll be in for a sorry awakening because you must be pure. And when I say pure, I'm pure of heart. We're talking pure of heart. I'm not going to get into telling you what to do and what not to do, but you know. You know. Just like a little kid knows that mommy said don't touch that hot stove and you touch it anyway. Well, you get burnt. And that's what's happening. A lot of you aren't really taking this addiction and this celibacy serious. Well, sorry for you, but you won't be on the highest timeline. You'll still ascend. You'll still go where you got to go. 9:08 on the clock. You just won't go to the highest level. You'll stay more grounded. Okay, so you're getting downloads, visions, and dreams. You're being grounded. When you're in your physical body, they're having you be grounded. But when you're sleeping, you're doing this awakening, this ascending, this astral protection is all around you. So if you notice these cards that they had me talk about with this, we're not going to take it, be done. This is that final clearing of the karmic residue that's on us, okay? We're having this battle between being grounded and ascending. when we're in our physical body, we're being asked to ground. When we're in our astral body, we're being asked to ascend. So this is hard for us. We're also in a world where sex, drugs, and rock and roll is the way to go, and we're being asked to be celibate and free of addictions because we're chosen. And they're giving me another example of if you were an actor in Hollywood and we told you we wanted you to do a movie, but you had to lose 50 pounds. You wouldn't really like to do that, but you're going to do it because you want the part. Well, your part is to bring the movie to an end. And you're a chosen one, you're a divine one, you're a royal one. So they want you to be pure so that you can ascend. They want you to stay grounded and know that you're protected and you're getting downloads and visions. They want you to disconnect from the matrix people, the awkward silence, the mechanical responses. They want you to get out of survival mode and get into the spiritual mode. And they don't want you to care what people say about you. So that was the whole message on that one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pick a few cards here from the Light Seer deck. Randomly at the bottom we have the Page of Swords, which is my student card, where she's looking at her books, she's listening to Miss Mystic, and she's getting some bright ideas. Okay? Now, I know you guys didn't want to hear that one, did you? You don't want to hear that. Now, this one was stuck from Tasha's Divine Guidance, was stuck on the Light Seer deck. And this is St. Michael saying he's protecting you. And we just had ancestral protection. So your protection department is very good. Security is doing a great job. And we do want to thank them. I always am thinking about Whitney Houston and The Bodyguard. If you haven't seen that movie, please watch it. She's doing a lot of great work with the children and has done a lot of great work with the children. And at the Hilton, they have those time portals where she allegedly was said to have died. She went through one of them portals and she's been helping the children ever since. So Whitney Houston, The Bodyguard, I've told you this before. The song was I Love You, something like that. And the movie is called The Bodyguard. And I would love to be with my bodyguard. And I'm with St. Michael already. Okay, so your bodyguard knows you very well. Okay, with all that shuffling, look what came back. The Page of Swords. Use them bright ideas. Now, they want me to read out of here because we did get the Page of Swords a couple times. So they want me to read something out of here. What do you want me to read? Okay. They wanted me to read this. Energy and enthusiasm, spiritual exploitation and discovery, creativity and expression, start of a significant journey, and the ability to inspire others. Okay, now that makes total sense because of the fact that I just said my student and her bright ideas. I mentioned the Bodyguard movie, the song I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. It was 1444 on the clock. I mentioned the portal, the transporter in the Hilton. All these things are very important. And being with somebody that knows you, I wouldn't even be able to go out with somebody that didn't study my channel and that knew me, because I can't explain all this stuff. You know, Susan asked me when I figured out I was multidimensional, and it's like, you know, have you watched my video? I've had 1118 with many zeros behind it lives. I have known I'm multidimensional for a very long time. This ain't my first rodeo. So it's just like, that's why I can't even answer questions, because it's like, when you're a really, really old soul and you break free from the matrix programs, you're left with all this space and all of this knowledge with the DNA activations and all of these powers coming in. It's like you can't even talk with people. You can hardly even talk on YouTube because you feel like they won't understand. So I'm glad we have cards. It would just be nice to have your physical person to talk to, but that may not happen for reasons I just said, okay? Unless that person has a physical body or can get a physical body that's your bodyguard or one of your guides, you're kind of doomed, because nobody's going to get you, and you don't have time to explain all this. So thank you for the question, but you know, it's just like, use your common sense here. And if you've watched my video under my video tab and you know who I really am, and that's just a little bitty glimpse of it, okay? But it's a big glimpse of it if you're still in 3 and 4D thinking. If you're 5D and higher, you'll know that that video is just a little tiny glimpse of who I am, who we are. 2 of Cups, top of the deck. Exactly. Everything I'm just talking about, that's our soul contract, 2 of Cups. And I'm drawn to her and his hand. See, there's one hand that has flesh and one hand that has bone. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You probably don't have somebody physically that you're doing this contract, this end of this contract with. You're probably doing this alone because they're not in a physical body. Okay, so that's for most of us. And again, this channel is going to get less and less people because we're getting to the end of the movie where when I talk like this, soul contract stuff, and I'm talking about you having to be with your 5D and higher people versus your physical people, that's what I was talking about when I said the mechanical responses have to go, the awkward silences have to go, you're being downloaded with lots of visions, you're chosen, you're divine. You've got to weed your garden, yeah. You've definitely got to weed your garden. And if it means you're just alone with your kitty cats or your birdies or your doggies, that's the way it is. Now, it's going to make you feel like this, the 5 of Swords, and that's why I just got done saying this channel will probably go down to a lot less because people just aren't going to get it. They're going to want to stick with their rainbows and unicorn stories, and that's not happening here, okay? We did a lot of dog rescues last night, speaking of dogs, in Astro, and also are doing it in the physical. If you notice, there's been lots and lots of dog rescues lately. We're really cracking down. You know, when I said the minions are also the people that abuse animals, and we're taking them out. They are such pieces of garbage. We're taking out the garbage. So we've got the 4 of Wands to finish this up, and that's the celebration card. You're going to start feeling happy. And if you're not feeling happy, that's where I said you got to get rid of these people. But this is it. It's kind of like you're not going to keep getting all these warnings because it's just like that's it. You know, you either did what you were supposed to do or you didn't, and that's just where we're at. We're not going to take it. We're not going to take it. That means everybody. That means Astro's not going to take it no more. Your guides, your master teachers, you yourself, everybody. It's just at this attitude of we're done. And incoming messages, and that's the Eight of Wands, communication. We left off yesterday where we had the Eight of Wands with your Destiny card, remember? Okay, with the Nine of Wands. Those were the cards yesterday, and the Wheel of Fortune. Well, today we're right back there again with the Eight of Wands and the Two of Pentacles, courageous and daring. And get out of the illusions. Come up from the water. Come up from the water. Okay, I am Miss Mystic. I think that was good for now. It was a deep message for those of you that get it. For those of you that don't get it, like I said, you can keep trying, but there's going to come a moment real soon where the door will be permanently shut. Okay, I am Miss Mystic. Thank you for listening.